Ready? All right, barring a couple of technical difficulties, we're going to call this meeting to order. Exits are out the hall, or out the door, down both ends of the hall. A be across the hall if anybody would need it. We stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I'm over to silent for the deceased residents of Hamlin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Here goes our invocation from John Abel of Hamlin New Testament Church.
Hi. So this morning I happened to be listening to some Christian radio, and a song done by an artist by the name of Carrie Joe came on, which was it's called A Blessing. And it's from a Mosaic blessing that was spoken to Aaron, given to Aaron and the children of Israel to pray at that time. And it says in Numbers 6:22 through 27, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and the sons, saying, this is the way you shall bless the children of Israel, saying to them, the Lord bless you and keep you, the Lord make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you, the Lord lift up his countenance to you, and give you peace. So they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I will bless them." And I just got to thinking that was 1300 BC, and here we are, 2022, so it's 3,322 years they've been praying that blessing over people. And we're still doing that today. I believe the blessings of Abraham as a Christian have come upon us. Jesus was a Jewish Messiah that came to fulfill the Old Testament scriptures. And so I just thought it would be cool to pray that over you guys. So Father, I am grateful for this group of people who serve us so well, serve this community. Lord, I continue to pray, and we all continue to pray for wisdom for them. Lord, build this team, make them stronger and stronger, more and more effective for your people in the community. And Lord, I pray that the Lord will bless each one and will keep them. That the Lord will make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Bless this meeting tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Now we'll go with a roll call.
Bartlett.
He is excused.
Male. Here. Vocal. Here. Yeager.
Here. Here. At this time, we'll go to our public forum. I see that we have 3 people who have here. I wanted to say we try to keep it to 3 minutes and address the whole board, not just a single person. And we'll start with Larry Gore from Westfall Drive.
What I need to address the board on is the problems that we have been having at the town park on Westfall Road, or Drive, depending on which way you go in. But, out of on the sign that's there now, says the hours are dawn to dusk, and it says no alcohol, no open fires, no firearms, no loitering, no motorized vehicles, and no horseback riding. 5 of these have been violated continually, and we've had ones that basically are destroying Westfall Road right out from the park. Burnouts, partying at night after dusk, and just loud noise. The burnouts are getting crazy. I mean, I live a ways from it, and it wakes me up. And anyways, the latest one has been the whole side of the creek on Westfall was posted private property. They ripped our posted signs down. And that finally just irked me, because I was actually, it was my week to watch it, see what was happening. So anyways, when signs come down, with the rip going down and whatever, couldn't find them. They weren't just tossed in the bushes. Obviously they were proper and took it away. But then the landowners on Westfall, we look out for each other. And when those posted signs come down, the next day, I had to end up calling the sheriff's department because there was about 25 plus people that went out of the park, down on private property, and were down along the creek. And that's, just not, kosher to do that. And so I'd like the town board to go to the people that said they would take care of it and everything, because I've got garbage cans that I picked up, debris, liquor bottles, beer cans, all this other stuff. Now, when the posters were up, we didn't get any picking. And we even had 3 or 4 signs that said, ask the landowner for permission. Now, how many we have? 2. That's all that ask permission to fish around there. So, I'd like to see the town put signs up there that say, no creek access from the town park. And then put on the bottom, town of Hamlin. Just like to see that happen. And, because in the September town board meeting, because of the memorial that's on there, right, they weren't aware that they would be trespassing if they went over the bank. Well, they're still doing it. There's at least 2 to 3 people fishing down over the bank, and I just, the other thing I would like to see is that memorial, because it was the person that died when they put the memorial up, it is his favorite fishing spot. How can it be his favorite fishing spot if he's trespassing, or was trespassing, on private property? So, I would like to see at least the fishing stuff that is in that memorial taken out, so that, none of this favorite fishing spot. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll respond a little bit too, but I see Mr. Gady is here also talking about the same thing, so we might respond a little bit after he talks too. All right?
Would you like me to talk?
Yes, sir. We'd like you to talk next, Mr. Gady.
My name's John Beatty. I live on 256 Lake Road in Sport, the old B. Johnson house. I've been there going on 18 years. I love the creek. I fished there for many years, not on the posted side. And I bought the house with my wife just 18 years ago. We love it. We love this town. We've met many wonderful people. From the time we moved in, I came in early on and asked, now my property line goes across the creek to pretty much 2/3 into the bank of the park. I came in, will you show me the map? And the map I have. I own that property. So my wife and I always wondered, how can the town have a town park and give creek access to private property from the town park? We let it go for many years. I didn't post it over there. I put a sign up many years ago, please no fires. Less than 3 days later, it was burned up in a fire. Someone threw that sign that I made. I'm trying to be decent with people. In September, Larry, myself, the Millers, the Phillips, some other, Tommy Barbero, who runs Marina, had all signed a letter that my wife wrote up. She'd be here tonight, but she's out of the country. She has COVID in Ireland, and she can't come back to America, and that's another story. We wrote a letter in September, and all signed it, and I never received a response. Nothing. It was a well-written letter. We all signed it. We never heard any response about it. Since the kid he's talking about, Chaz, when he passed, I'm sure you all heard. It was so scary. I called Don Miller across the creek, who also, he and his wife live across the creek, and they signed the letter. I called, asked him what the heck was going on. I came home from work, and my daughter was scared to death. There were at least 300 people over there, burning rubber, drag racing. Women holding babies with guys drag racing. I called, asked Don what was going on. His wife answered the phone, Judy Miller. I'm in the bathroom, John. I'm afraid to come out of the bathroom. She was scared. She was shaking. Now, we pay taxes like everyone else in this town. I consider myself a decent citizen of this town. I've done 3 performances in this town as an entertainer. And I just have had no response from the town board, from the town supervisor. I'm at the end of my ropes. That is a public park that gives access to private property. Just a couple things that my wife notes that she had put down. I wish I could have found the copy of the letter. You might have it on file. I couldn't find it. It's somewhere in our house. What was Mrs. Westfall's intent when she gave that property to the town was for people to have a place to go? If you remember her wishes, this is what I was told. Her wishes was to make that road come around, and then Creekside Drive, that used to go all the way around, was dead-ended, correct?
Yes.
I don't know how long you lived here.
The road, I've lived here my whole life.
Okay, so you know back then what, and I don't know what her wishes were. It wasn't to give people creek access, because it wasn't her property to do that, correct?
Correct.
And one of her concerns was the deterioration of the bank, with people going up and down. Litter, obviously. I picked up bags and bags of garbage. I picked up hypodermic needles. I picked up big round pots with pot plants cut off, and people just dump the empty pot from the plant. Fires, noise, just the danger. It terrifies I have a grandson that lives with me. He's afraid to go out in the canoe anywhere near there for what might happen. And then the last thing, no offense to Chaz White and his family. I understand their grieving. I lost my brother. I lost my mother-in-law and my son-in-law all in that same period that Chaz died, within a few months of that. We found civil ways to honor our dead family members. To gather 300 people and have drag races up and down the street and scaring us to death. My 10-year-old son, I'm sorry, I don't mean to disaddress you. He couldn't go to sleep that night. He was so petrified. He thought the world was ending. Plumes of smoke coming across the creek. It was unbelievable. I called the sheriff 5 times that night. I kept saying, here's my address, but this is where you go to Westport. What do they do? 5 cop cars pull into my driveway. So now all those people across the creek, see who the guy is that called the cop? I was harassed for weeks. People burning rubber in front of my house, beeping their horn and flipping me off. I'm worked up about this. I'm sorry, but maybe my 3 minutes is up, but we're at the end of our ropes. We're at the end of our ropes.
You're fine.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. We, as you know, I am a new administration. I did not know that the old administration did not But there had been meetings here, and we called the other group in, and that this town board did, and talked to them and admonished them, and we had we found a person who we could talk to about it, and they said they would be better, and I think it has gotten better. I agree. I saw they did videos of that night we were talking about, and I saw those videos. So I realized that they were burning out, racing, the smoke rolling. I saw it on video.
The language, the booze. I went over with Don Miller, we picked up 20 beer cans.
That night, probably, yes.
And then Chaz's father was there the next day in his defense, raking out the burnout marks that they made in the gravel. The poor guy lost his son. I felt terrible for him.
Right.
But that is no way to honor your dead. I just don't understand it. If they want to do a memorial, why don't they do it on Drake Road where the kid died? And Larry's right. They made a memorial in a place where he legally fished. I kicked him out of there one day. He wouldn't leave. I called the cops. The cops came, stood on my little peninsula and yelled to him. He's standing in the middle of the creek and waited. You're on private property. He flipped them off. The cop looked at me, looked at the other cop. He's told the kid, if you make me get in the water, you're going to be arrested and go to jail. He finally came out. That was Chaz. You know, I don't want to degrade someone that's passed, but it's just been on and on and on, and we've gotten no response from the town whatsoever.
I am sorry, because we did talk to them, I'm saying I didn't,
Right.
but the town board did.
It was
so.
before your tenure.
Yeah, but I mean, the town board did talk to them. I'm sorry that the other administration didn't talk to you because there was meetings with them and things he could have called. I'm sorry that you didn't get to talk to them. I will apologize for that. I have been down there since Larry called me a week or so ago. You called me.
Yep.
I was down there that next day and looked at things. I was actually down there this morning with the highway superintendent to see what maybe we would do down there.
What is the purpose of the park? You know, the only thing that happens is people drive in, they make out, they do drugs and drink beer. It's not a real park, it's a drive around to give people free access. That's what I don't understand, and I've never understood.
Well, years ago it used to be a driveway. That's before they put up. That's where that road came. That road came all the way before they built the bridge over the creek on East 4. That was how you got around Sandy Creek and got down to the Parkway.
Gotcha.
That road came all the way over there. So that's why the town owns it. They own Creekside, and that whole road came over to
I
Westfall.
understand that, but what is the foresight of putting a park there? What is?
And that is something that we may have talked to in the future with this board. I want to talk with our attorney and see other things, whether we dissolve the park, whether we keep it, maybe put a fence up, whatever. I am going to work on it, and we are going to talk with our attorney about it and just see. Maybe we will get rid of the park. I don't know, but I want to make sure that it's not going to see like we want
Another
to.
factor, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, to see maybe we want to, an access all the way out to Creekside, whether we want to keep that access from 2 Road where we don't need it, whether we sell it in the future to somebody who might want to buy it, maybe yourself or whatever. I'm just saying, or whatever. That's something we'll talk to this board. We actually talked about that this morning with my superintendent. We talked about that. But we gotta talk about, like I said, with the attorney and the rest of the board, we were talking about options. So we will work on this.
And one other factor that I didn't mention is the fact that people going up and down that steep bank leaves me liable.
Yes.
They're coming down my private property. Somebody falls and breaks their back. It's on me.
I talked to there may be a fence going up there actually to keep them from going down that bank. At least temporarily for right now, just temporarily to try to keep them from going down the bank, because you're right, they can fall down, injure themselves if they fall on your property until we decide what to do.
I've seen people bringing 3-year-old kids down that steep bank. If my heart starts pounding, I'm afraid that kid's gonna tumble down.
Right.
It's a scary situation.
No, I agree. Like I said, we were there this morning, we saw the steep bank and everything, so They said we may be putting up a fence at least temporarily this week for something to get done until we figure out a more permanent way to deal with this problem.
And the state has put in a parking lot so people are free to park there and go upstream and fish from the parking lot across the street from it.
Right. Right, but like I said, you may see a fence going up there to try to keep from going down that steep bank and everything here shortly, until we come up with a more permanent solution.
I really appreciate your time and your time.
Yes, sir, Larry.
My answer to that would be, there are some that trespass, but they go a little farther down Westfall, so they don't have to go down that steep bank.
And that's not the town property, so that's nothing I can do
That's
about
private,
that.
so now we have another trespassing, and, you know, and we're just gonna have the posted signs ripped off anyways.
I can't, that's not town property, I can do this, and like I said, maybe we'll talk on this further and we'll see, maybe we don't need the property, maybe we'll do something different, I don't know exactly. Turn it all in the grass, take the turnaround out of there, so we have options and we'll discuss it, we will work on it. I said we may put the fence in there temporarily to at least discourage them from going down the bank right now, and try to do something more permanent in the future.
In the first couple of years I lived there, I said, oh, I'm not going to be the new guy that's a pain in the ass. You know, I didn't want to be that guy, but I've been here 18 years. I pay my taxes. I volunteer for this town. You know, I'm a decent citizen. I don't feel that we have to live in terror. And it's become that. We live in terror.
Right. But yes, I have both your phone numbers, so I will keep you both. Like I said, we will work on this. Not tonight, we're probably not going to an awful lot. I have other stuff to do, but
Absolutely.
we will revisit this, and we're gonna try to figure out, and I'll keep in touch. I will keep in touch with both of you, and we'll see if we can do a more permanent solution. I said I need to talk with our attorney on stuff also, and the rest of the board.
Thank you all very much for listening.
All right, no problem. Thank you. All right, the third person, Mark Besso, at 7048 Benedict Beach Road.
Good evening. As he said, Mark Bessel, my wife Rebecca, we live on Benedict Beach. I wanted to ask a couple questions and maybe make a couple suggestions related to the sewer district at the Lake Shore. A very brief discussion before the meeting with Jennifer probably answered, I made 5 points to talk about, probably answered 2 of them, and they were generated by this last weekend's paper that talked about a notice of public hearing regarding sewer district number 1, and it mentioned a meeting coming up in May, and it mentioned some costs.
Sewer district number 2.
But it says 1, remember I told you, I said people are gonna get confused, it's 1 for Kendall, but it's
Oh,
gonna be
yes,
number
that's right,
2
that's
for
right,
us.
Kendall one, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're correct, sir.
No,
That's right.
and
It's our sewer district number 2.
you know, it says town of Hamlin hearing, it doesn't say anything about, so I understand that was my misunderstanding based on how that was presented, so that made me have questions about why did the cost go up so much, and on, so those questions go away.
Yes.
Which will make this shorter, which I'm sure is a
Yes,
good thing.
the cost is not going up from what?
But, yeah, so that's very good, and that, I happen to have a friend stopped in today who was in Kendall. He said, oh, I just went to an informational meeting on a Hamlin, Kendall, whatever, town sewer district. And then I talked about mine, he talked about his, and we were like, is this the same one? Are they modifying our plan? You know, it raised a lot of questions is what it did, so, I'll let that move. Certainly as a town resident, we're interested in how the original, the number 1 project is going, where it really stands. I took the time to write down all the communications I had so I could understand it, kind of paint a picture in my head chronologically. And we still wonder, all the neighbors talk, every time you see a neighbor, they say, you heard anything? You heard anything? Do you know what's going on? And so you can probably appreciate our concern and our interest. And so a suggestion, might you consider writing a letter to all the town residents, which for the sewer district has not happened in quite some time, and give them some kind of an update as best you can, whatever it is. I think that would make people feel a lot better. It isn't so much hurry up and rush, but tell us what it really is, because we just don't hear a lot, and people are frustrated with that. And I just want to give you one reason why I say that. In July of 2021, in the Hamlin News